our speaker, who is the expert on architecture. I'm not. Architecture and town planning are not the same. Town planning is based upon logic more than on artistic values and so on. But it is one of the factors that we have to consider. On the other hand of the coin, what do you have? What are the government's arguments? As Albert told us, only two. First, money. My God. The problem with Hong Kong, I've repeated it many times openly in newspapers and speeches, is this. The fundamental problem with Hong Kong is that the government puts money before people. Everywhere in the world, in town planning, you take people before money. After all, is town planning. It touches all your lives. It touches all your lives. The four things I mentioned: health, safety, convenience, general welfare of the community. It is people, it's not money. In those four things, it doesn't talk about money. Money, I think, must come last. However, the Hong Kong government behaves like a corporation. It is wearing the hat of the largest landowner in Hong Kong. Everything they do is based upon money. All right, money is important, we all know that. But it's not the only thing that is important. For a government, money should come way down the priorities. The first thing must be people. What do you mean by people? Of course we need housing. Of course we need many material things. But we also are human beings. We have other values. We have emotive values. We have the sense of beauty. We have a sense of space and history and culture and dignity and all that. These do not come into the government's formula, unfortunately. It should. Now, let me very quickly tell you about what we have done in the past. 5 years ago, we took up a campaign against Tamar. We could see where the government is coming from. They are moving the offices to Tamar, and we already at that time foresaw what we call the Cheung Kong Plaza. That's what this is going to become, the Cheung Kong Plaza. I will lay a wager, maybe 10-1, that this will be purchased and developed by Cheung Kong. Right? So there is some sort of understanding between the government and real estate developers. And don't rely on Hong Kong land taking action on this. I think Anna Lee said that. Because there's also an understanding between the big boys. They scratch each other's back. You know? So there you are. This is Hong Kong. And between the government and real estate developers, who suffers? The public. And I'm very disappointed this morning to be here, and at one time was counting the speakers equal the number of audience. Hong Kong people need to know that you need to stand up and be counted before it's too late. Another disappointment on my part is that normally in these gatherings, there are more non-Chinese than Chinese. What's happening to the Chinese culture? I tell you what, since our young age, we are taught you only clear the snow from your own footpath and never mind the other side of the fence. That is, we are taught to be very selfish. That is not the right approach. Hong Kong people must learn to stand up, and for something as important as this, you know, I believe people to do a fighting for this needs to perhaps start a petition signing. For our harbour campaign, which has now taken myself personally 16 years, we went round to the community and, surprisingly, we got more than 300,000 signatures. 300,000 more than. It's about 1 in 20 people in Hong Kong. And that made the government capitulate. Not reason, not even law. Because there's a limit to what law can do. But it's a very usable instrument. Let me see the two justifications. I think Albert already mentioned that we are not beggars. Our government is far more financially healthy than, I think, Ireland, Greece, Portugal, Spain, and so on. So we have no money problems. And the sum of $5 billion is nothing in terms of a government. The US government is now printing money in the terms of trillions. Okay? So Hong Kong government doesn't need the money. Let's talk about one office block for Hong Kong. My God, Does that justify destroying our heritage and our history for just one office block? You mean Hong Kong will sink without this? I mean, what nonsense. Why are people not, banging on the doors of Government House and asking Mr. Zhang, hey, do you know what you're doing in Hong Kong? You're supposed to lead us, so don't talk nonsense. I've here set out 3 principles for government. Maybe, I don't even know if the media is here today. The first principle is very simple. People before money. I mentioned that. Secondly, the government must be far-sighted. Let's talk about one office block. What does it do for Hong Kong? Nothing. Look at London. They needed more offices. What did they do? They moved out to Canary Wharf. I think Manila, some years ago, they started a new office area called Makati. Very successful. Hong Kong cannot grow by individual office buildings. There must be a far-sighted approach to what is to come. Hong Kong needs maybe a new commercial area before the whole of Hong Kong Central will collapse through traffic congestion. So they had the opportunity to do something in West Kowloon. They did. And now they have the opportunity to do it in Kai Tak. They're not. So you cannot let Hong Kong grow just by putting up more buildings in Central. This statement, Hong Kong needs Class A offices, is stupid. Any government who talks to me as a town planner, we need more Class A offices in Hong Kong, I will call you very stupid. You better come to classes and learn something about town planning. Because for town planning, when the city grows, it grows outwards, not inwards. If you start building in the city of London, London will collapse. It cannot take the traffic. It cannot take the high rise. It cannot take the additional burden of people. So that's not the way for Hong Kong to grow. It must grow out, not in. Yes, any major city in the world will of course need Class A offices in the center of the building. I assure you, if you let me take over New York, right, and sell Central Park, there will be many takers. But you don't do that. Or even London. Give me Hyde Park. I'll sell it for a good price. More than £5 billion, I'm sure. Now, secondly, when we were fighting Tamar, we were saying this. You are using, let's start at the beginning. We have a beautiful harbour. Why are we losing it? The only justification government can come up with, openly, secretly, of course, is money. But openly is traffic, to resolve traffic congestion. So 5 years ago we asked them, then why are you putting up new offices, government offices on Tamar? That would be a beautiful place, properly designed to make it very people friendly and for the use of the public. And government said no, we want to move our offices there. Then we asked them, what do you want to do with Government Hill? And even then, we predicted what is happening now. By the way, this may be just the wedge to open a crack in the door. Next thing you know, the whole place will go. There's no way to stop them. Once the nature and character of the area is different, is becoming commercial, then there's no reason why the whole area could not be converted to commercial instead of GIC. GIC, by the way, is government, institutional, and community. This is community property. Therefore, my second corollary to people before money is that public property must